The Creative Collective is a networking group for creative businesses. And this is their podcast.
Microwave, eh?
What was that?
Microwave. Have you not heard that?
No.
It's a cricket quote, actually. No, it's
Really choked.
It's Nigella Lawson. She said, "I'm just going to pop the mash or whatever. Pop the mash in the microwave." Have you not heard that?
Never.
No. Have you heard that?
Have you?
Yeah. Oh,
I'll have to find it later.
I wouldn't worry too much. But yeah, the microwave.
But not because she thought that's how it was.
I don't know. She's a bit of a card, isn't she?
Is she the one that got wasted at Norwich City? No, that was...
That's Delia.
Oh, yeah, Delia.
Like the come on.
Yeah.
Let's be having you. That was Delia Smith.
Yes.
Again.
Steve Smith's nan.
Call back. Steve Smith's nan. Oh, right. Set.
That was 41.
No. That's 31.
Just wanted you to do it
One,
again.
two, yeah, 31. Episode 31. Whiskers. You shouldn't go full time with your business.
Damn it, why didn't you tell me that 5 years ago?
Discuss.
I've been scrabbling around for 5 years.
I saw a social media post the other day, and
What
it was
platform was it on?
It was love a platform. It was on the gram, and it was talking to photographers, and it was very clickbaity, and it was just there for lots of comments. But he was completely very black and white about it, saying that the market's completely saturated. There's very little money. It's a race to the bottom. If you love photography, don't go full time.
Interesting.
Get a full-time job and just do it as a passion project and do it for love. And then that money that you bring in, whether it's a big amount or small amount, it's just bonus money. And then you can just love what you do in terms of your creative output. And it takes all the pressure off. And that's what people should do.
Just to define full-time.
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, that's a good statement.
Is it full-time hours or full-time money?
I would say full-time money.
Okay.
Because what is full-time hours? If you're self-employed, sometimes full-time hours is 50 hours, sometimes it's 20 hours, So maybe the definition is it's your sole income, basically. Yep. So what are your thoughts on that?
Could you repeat it?
The whole thing?
No.
Don't go full-time.
Don't go full-time because it might kill the passion, the love,
because there's an ever-decreasing market. This was photography, but I'm obviously we're widening this out to lots of creative industries, because the creative industry is going through a bit of a like lots of industries, a tough time. So if you loved your craft before, why go full time? Just go part time and love it.
I don't know if I can answer this one, because when I got into voiceover, I didn't have a lifelong passion before. It was completely new. I'm just trying to compare it to music, because for a long time that was all I wanted to do, and in my mind I thought it would be amazing to get up every day, play guitar all day long, play gigs every day, live in a van, and eventually get to a point where I'm not living in a van. Maybe I live in a lorry or something. And I wanted that to be full time. Of course, it never got to that point, so I can't compare to what it actually would have been like. Doing something creative full time now, going back to episode 29, where we mentioned fulfilment in life. I get the fulfillment from being creative, I think, as opposed to the job, because I do other creative stuff within work that isn't necessarily voiceover. I think you can still enjoy stuff that you get paid for if it was a love before, surely.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if I put a scenario to you, young person comes to you and says, I want to do voiceover.
Yep.
I have a passion for it. I've maybe got a YouTube channel. I absolutely love it. I just want to take it a step further. Would you be behind that, or would you think, or would you, because of what you've been through and you know how difficult it is, would you try and steer them away from that, like this person on Instagram was doing? So don't worry about full time. Just see it as a hobby, see it as a passion, and long term, you'll thank me for it because you'll still have that.
I'll always say go for it.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know now from trying something quite late in my working life, I guess, at least halfway through it. A third of the way. Because otherwise you just won't know whether it would have ever worked or not. And I'd hate to have said no to someone and then them in 40 years think, oh, what an arsehole. I wish I'd have tried that. He told me not to.
Yeah.
And look what I could have done.
Yeah.
There was something happened, I think it was either really early this year or the end of last year. I was introduced to an 18-year-old guy who wanted to do VO. He'd loved doing voices. He'd done a little bit of work and had his own setup at home. Like his mum had built it for him in his bedroom. It was
amazing.
I would, love to have that.
Yeah.
If I'd have been wanting to do voiceover at that age, it would have been great. And he had some talent, and he'd come onto a few calls with like a little accountability group. But I think he was very, very put off by the hard work that is involved on the business side. And he just disappeared. Stopped coming to the accountability groups because I think he realised that it wasn't all fun and games of doing city voices.
Well, this is what we talked about on episode, literally the last episode. We were talking about the craft is very different to the business, isn't it? And you come into, I mean, I remember when I was thinking about launching the business, and all I was thinking is, well, if I can take good photos, I can do the business, because you don't know what you don't know. So it sounds like exactly what has happened to that young person. Yeah,
exactly. It's a shame, but I think it kind of highlights my thoughts on the original question, should you go full time? It's the type of person you are as well. So I've always had drive to do stuff. Like I would come in from work and write songs, go to band practice. I'd always push something else because I wanted it to work. If you want it to work, like I wanted voiceover to work, you will go for it. And that includes eventually, like we said in the last episode, everything else that comes with that.
Yeah.
Learning how to do accounts to start with, because you won't be able to afford to pay someone to do it. Getting your website, learning about networking, whatever.
So much to it.
So I think if you've got the drive and self-belief has to come into it as well, I think, at some point, then yes, you should at least try it.
Yeah.
If you can sustain your life and potentially your family's life whilst you're trying it.
Well, and that's the thing, isn't it? Because I think if you take that attitude too far, you think, well, this is what I want to do. This is my passion, and screw everybody else because it's my life, which is great depending on everybody else involved, isn't it? Because you could do it for 6 months, a year, and be pretty much homeless. You can't pay the rent, mortgage, or whatever. So there's got to be an element of realism, but there's always ways around it. Yeah. I mean, my initial reaction was because he isn't full time, and so he was coming from the position of, I love photography and I do it outside the day job, and it works for him. But I think it's quite kind of dangerous to say, and I know why he was doing it, to get clicks, which it works because we're talking about it now. But I think it's dangerous to say don't do something, because
especially if he's not actually doing it.
Yeah.
Has he ever been full time?
I don't know. I mean, he was. Yeah, I didn't particularly, like his delivery or his sort of personality, but it was an interesting post. And he's not even in a position where he's working full time, so he's not even coming at this conversation from a position of knowledge of, right, well, I've been doing this, and these are my earnings over the last 5 years, and it's going down and down and down. So if you are in a position to go full-time photography, just think about it really, really clearly. And if you love photography, maybe full-time isn't going to be the best way.
Did you do photography before you?
I did, yeah.
So how do you feel about photography now compared to when you first got your first camera and was all excited?
Yeah, well, I mean, that going, maybe arguing against myself, is a good example of what can and does potentially happen when you turn a passion into a business. Because you know what it's like with your energy and your creativity. Sometimes you're high as a kite, and sometimes you can do creative stuff outside the business, and sometimes you think, I'm like kind of burnt out and I don't want to even look at a camera, which is really sad. Because sad, because which is sad. This was a bit too serious, this one, so I'm glad you kind of brought it down a bit. Which is
Bring it down.
Which is creatively sad, because you get into the business because you love it. But as it stands, and I don't know why this is, but I've it just ebbs and flows. So I've just been away on holiday, and I think that helps just to sort of get away. And I think now the lovely thing about running a creative business is your creative kind of side hustles feed into your business, and that and then it goes back to what we were saying in episode 29 about personal development and professional development. So I think being full-time, your identity is kind of being played out because of the business that you run, isn't it? Whereas for me, if I wasn't full-time, I know I would probably struggle with that, because I'm big on kind of identity in terms of the work I do.
Ego.
Could be ego, couldn't it? Could be.
Look at me.
However, there have been times, this hasn't lasted long, because if I kind of throw forward a bit, there has been times where I thought, wouldn't it be amazing just to do a film project or a photography project on the side, where I could just take my time, and it could be what it used to be, a real hobby and something I could look forward to, rather than, I've got to edit today. That would be amazing. But then I throw forward into, but that means I'd have to have a job, and I hate jobs. So that could never happen. Yeah.
That's the other sort of way of thinking about it, isn't it? Should I go full time in something that's awesome and potentially lose a little bit of love for it, but still enjoy doing it because you're getting that full, like we keep talking about, fulfilment?
Yeah.
Or stick in a job that you probably don't love. There will definitely be things that you put up with there just because it's a regular paycheck. So what would you prefer?
Yeah. And only that person can answer that, because everyone's different. Because I think some people put a huge amount of weight on, I know what I'm earning every month, and I like the routine of it, and the job's okay. And
do you know what that's called?
That's fine.
That's called the wage cage.
Okay, go on.
It wasn't something I come up with.
No. Obviously, it's intelligent.
It's what you're talking about. It's just the comfort of knowing that's there all the time, and it just makes life easy, or seemingly easy, but it doesn't necessarily make it happy.
Well, I think, is this fair to say? I think if you're in the wage cage, but you know you're in the wage cage, and you're absolutely fine with that, I think that's a really nice place to be, because you're content and fulfilled. If you're in the wage cage, I love this, but you don't want to be in the wage cage because because you know there's something different out there for you and you want something different, that's awful. Because you're in a job where you're looking forward to having your wheeze every 2 hours, because you just time away from the desk. We've all been there. You're kind of counting down till you go to the toilet again, but so that's terrible, isn't
Nice and regular, are you?
Yeah, well, I have to be in a desk job. I've never had a desk job. What I tell you what I had the other day, I did a shoot that was in an office space.
Mm.
And it was the typical office space where everything's white and bland, and there's no music and there's no atmosphere, and everybody's just sort of doing their thing. And again, we come back to it. There's going to be some people in that office, in the wage cage, that really like that.
Say it again.
Love it. That is my takeaway from today. That's going to love that and enjoy that. But there's also going to be people, like, I can't imagine how much that would suck my soul away from me.
Yeah.
And so I came out all that shoot thinking, God, I'm lucky.
Mm.
Wow, I'm so lucky to do what I do. Not going to be for everybody. That's part of the fun, isn't it?
They might have been on £1 million a year.
I couldn't give a shit.
How much would it take for you to do a job like that? Or what?
That's a great question.
Not necessarily just the money, but what would have to put you in that position to think, oh, I've got to do it?
Would it have to be full time? Because if someone had offered me an amount of money that was, say, part time, like just in an office doing horrible things, I could probably deal with that because there would be enough good stuff and you would be financially secure. If it was full time, like full time is like 9 till 6 or whatever.
Let's keep with the theme of the podcast. It's got to be full time.
Okay. It would have to be. Is there any amount of money? I'm not sure, because you would be so unhappy for 75% of your life.
What about
you? If so, this is throwing it back to you because you've been recently employed at an office job like databases.
Recently?
Well, no,
Like
5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
If I said to you, here's X amount of money, and this amount of money is massive to you, like it would be completely secure for your family, everything. You wouldn't have to worry, but it was full time, 9 till 6 every day, weekends off.
It's such a silly question, isn't it? Because
I love it.
The amount of money would never happen in that sort of job. But it'd have to be enough to make it palatable.
Yeah.
And comfortable outside. And would you be able to have music on your headphones during the day?
No.
Oh, so it's literally just
you're in,
no talking.
a little bit of office inane banter that no one really likes. You'd have to talk about your weekend on Mondays that no one really listens to. I'm
so glad I never worked with you when I was younger.
You'd have to listen to Karen talking about their 2 weeks in Tenerife that they've been waiting all year for. Then they come back and they hated it.
And all I ate was croquettes.
Fish and chips.
Yeah.
They didn't go to the Indian because it's a bit foreign.
I
have worked with someone like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's really tough. And I think a lot of it does depend on who you would be working with as well. Because one of the places I worked at, it was such a good laugh.
Yeah.
It was that type of work, but it was a great laugh.
Okay. Yeah. So I suppose you could be doing something you don't really enjoy, but the atmosphere and culture could be so good, and you could get on. Like if you're working with mates,
love a bit of office gossip as well.
Yeah, you do love a bit of gossip. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 10K a year.
That high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's more than I'm making now. So
I think I didn't want to bring it up.
Yeah.
The first figure that I thought would be $500,000 a year.
A year.
It sounds stupid.
Well, I was thinking 250.
But I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing.
No, exactly.
For something like that. So it would have to be a really strong pull of.
Yeah.
But I've only got 20 years left in work, so it's not that bad.
Well, that's the thing. You could, if you could earn that amount of money to retirement, you literally make your family comfortable, and that maybe could be the drive and pull that gets you through the shit.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a good question. So in summary, in wrap up, should you go full time? It depends, obviously, but I think that my main takeaway, obviously, is cage wage.
Wage cage.
What did I say?
Cage wage. Fucked it, mate. Right at the last minute.
So that was my big takeaway, is one I can't remember. And the second, cage, I've said it again, wage cage. Yeah, odd. And the second one is, try it. because there's nothing worse than regretting, is there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
All right, mate.
See you later.
31 in the can. See you later.
Done. Do you need to bleep the F word? I can't remember whether we have F words in it or not.
Let's see what YouTube say.
I normally sort of censor myself a bit.
Fucked it, mate. That was funny. Cage wage. It's wage cage, yeah. Have you heard of that? Wage cage?
No, but I like it.
It's good, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's full of them today. No whiskers.
I need to have a quick wee before we